Hi there, it's Greg Boyer from Startup 101. I've just been having a wander this morning around my farm following some heavy rain during the week, and last night capped it off with some quite strong winds. And I was concerned that there'd be a number of trees down. Thankfully none around the farmhouse, but as it turns out there's been quite a few around the farm. And when I had a look at them, a number of them had blown over from the root system. In other words, the whole tree was down and just basically came straight out of the ground, which made me think, well, they probably they hadn't grown well enough to actually have good foundations to withhold a lot of rain and then large winds. So they weren't strong enough in the ground. And that's what I want to talk to you about today in relation to starting a business, and how important it is when you do start a business to actually have good foundations there for future events. Growth is a good example. A number of years ago, I was project managing a large hospital project, and the client at the time had requested the builder provide contingency within the design and construction for not 9 floors, which we were originally asked to build, but actually 11 floors. So what happened was the design team got together and spitballed what was actually going to be done to cover off this contingency in case the client asked at some point during construction to actually put the extra 2 floors on. So the engineers came up with the answers, the solution. They said, rightio, the service guys said, let's build extra service ducts or larger ones so we can cope with the capacity of putting up extra pipe work or electrical services through up to the other 2 additional floors. And the structural engineers came up with the design to say, right, we'll put in certain points within the foundations additional structure that can actually handle the load of another 2 floors. And so that was our contingency to make sure that if there was that request coming through later on, we could handle it. A bit like a tree, making sure that the root system was far enough in the ground that it could handle any sort of weather event. So obviously, if we hadn't have done that and there were 2 extra floors put on, that could have been catastrophe, because extra load on a building can crack, can do a number of things which generally does not end up well. So that's also an analogy for what you should do in your business. And in particular, at the startup phase, plan for growth. And you think, hang on, did he just say plan for growth and I haven't even started yet? Well, yes, I am saying that, because if you don't plan at the start, it's very hard to put in place contingency fixes when you've actually already got the business up and running. Now, with growth, it's a great thing. And I always say to my clients, put it in your business plan. Plan for your growth. Look on the good side and think, yep, you're going to grow very quickly, be it your consulting business or your contracting business, and put in place contingency plans if that growth happens. A lot of the time they go, why? What's the point of doing that? I grow, everything's happy. But did you realise that actual growth in startups can be a large part of why they fail? It's not just because startups fail just because of I'll call them the normal things, which might be they don't get enough work in, or they just can't support the business long enough for money to come in. Growth is actually a large part of why businesses can fail, and I'll explain to you how. The first example, let's say your business is going great, you've got a lot of clients that love your work, be it a service, be it a product, doesn't matter. And they keep giving you more orders and more, and all of a sudden you're saturated with work. Your employees can't handle it, you're stressed to the eyeballs because you can't deliver as you were able to deliver earlier to your clients. They're on the phone, they're saying, why haven't I got my product or service yet? What's going on? And all of a sudden you start delivering stuff, or you don't deliver it at all, but if you do deliver it, the quality can be down because you've rushed it. Your employees may not be trained well enough to understand what needs to be done. You've brought in people who don't know really what they're doing. So all of a sudden you've gone from up here with your quality of service and product to your clients, and all of a sudden it's slipping. Your reputation's going with it. As they say, it takes years to develop a reputation, and it can take minutes to lose it. And that's the same within your business. If you've got a reputation for delivering high quality product or services, but all of a sudden it starts going downhill because you can't have the capacity for that growth, well, you might lose your clients. And losing the clients, and then that gets your competitors an opening, and then they can end up taking your business. So that's the first reason why growth needs to be planned for, because it actually can be a problem. A good problem, but can be a really bad problem if you don't plan for it. The second reason why growth can be a problem is because of your money situation. You might be able to afford providing your product or service initially, but when more and more clients start asking for you to stump up and go and manufacture your goods or bring in more people for your services, you've actually got to fund that. And if you haven't planned for that funding early on, you run out of cash. And cash is king in any business. And if you haven't got cash, you're trading insolvent. You go downhill. You think, well, hang on, I'm getting orders in for new work. Why would I run out of cash? Well, the problem is you get the orders in today, you've got to either manufacture it or provide the resources to do the work. Most businesses don't get paid until after the work's done, especially in a consulting business. So you've got to fund that period of where to your clients pay you. If you can't fund it, you've got to pay your employees, you've got to pay your lease, you've got to pay for the materials you need to build the products. If you can't do that, well, all of a sudden you don't have a business. So you need to also plan for that cash flow issue as well. So they're the two important things that I see with regards to growth and how it can be a problem if you don't plan for it. If you plan for it and the situation arises, generally people, when they're in a stressful situation, they find it difficult to think of solutions on the run. If you've already done that in your business planning phase right at the startup, you can go back to that, have a look at what the strategies you put in place for either excess growth and where you're going to get your employees from, or how you're going to fund those extra materials. And that enables you to actually have a plan in place that you can implement, that you've thought of and planned for while you weren't in a stressful state. So just like the hospital building, you need to put in place your foundations in your business that can cope for the heavy load that could happen when you grow. And I'm looking forward to, around the farm now, hopefully that the trees that remain upstanding have got the foundations in their root system to keep growing as well. So I hope you found today's video helpful for you. Please don't hesitate to give us a comment down below in the comment section. Love to give us a like as well, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I'd love to keep in touch with you going forward about how to successfully start up your new consulting or contracting business. So remember, if you've got a business dream, don't just dream about it. Get out there and live your business dream. My name's Greg Boyer from startup101.com. Look forward to seeing you soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.